pretty good.
Absolutely.
1590 on your dial, WCSL here in Cherryville. And we have a lot of sports to talk about, Tim. There's a lot going on in a lot of different sports. And, of course,
I'm ready to get my papers here, Ken.
Yeah. and, of course, the biggest event, one of the biggest sporting events of the year is coming up this Sunday, and that is the NFL Super Bowl.
Absolutely. You got the New England Patriots and the Philadelphia Eagles. They say to fly, Eagles fly. I'm going to be playing this Sunday. Kickoffs around 6:30 p.m. Ken. It's always, to me, it's the biggest sporting event in sports, bar none. I mean, you have the World Series, and of course, Daytona. The Daytona 500 will be coming up in February. I mean, it's like the Super Bowl of racing. But there's nothing. I mean, even college basketball. I mean, March Madness to me is one of my favorite times of the year. You got the ACC tournament, of course, the NCAA tournament. I know that's one of your favorites too. But you know, there's nothing like the Super Bowl, Ken.
Yeah, and it's a one-day event, but you know they start all during the week with all kind of festivities and parties and coverage and talking to everybody. So it's a big time deal, and it's in Minnesota, cold Minnesota. But
Woo!
Tim, it'll be an enclosed stadium, and it'll be nice, and
it'll be rocking in Minnesota.
It'll be good playing weather in Minnesota.
You know, Ken, they're calling for bad weather. I think Sunday here in our
I
area
saw
as
where
well.
we could have some frozen mix or snow or something like that. It's going to be cold as it has been here the last few weeks of this winter, and so I'm sure it's. I was listening to a little bit of a sports show coming in. Some of the folks that's already covering the Super Bowl out in Minnesota, and they said it's plenty cold out there to be out and about doing stuff.
Oh, yeah. So, got a great football game this Sunday. Like I say, Super Bowl, February 4th at U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Eagles versus the Patriots. Keys to the game and our predictions, Kenny. I tell you, as much as I love Tom Brady. He's, you know, somebody asked me the other day what I thought about Tom Brady. I said he's the greatest football player I've ever seen play. The greatest. I mean, I always said Lawrence Taylor was the greatest football player. Jerry Rice, without a doubt. Joe Montana. But Tom Brady's taking that.
Well, you might have an argument about is he the best football player ever. I'll say this. There's not much argument about he's the best clutch football player ever.
Oh, my gracious.
I mean, he's how many times has he brought that team back in the fourth quarter, and it's like he's done it so much, you know he's going to do it.
When the game's on the line, and Brady, you know, I've heard coaches and stuff like that say out there, said, you know, say, if you make a mistake, this guy will kill you. And he will. He's a – Skip Bayless of on Fox Sports says he's an assassin.
And he is very competitive. He comes across sort of low key, but you watch him
kind
on
of
the
a
side,
nerdy like.
Yeah,
yeah.
You used to watch him on the sideline. He is competitive. As
oh
anybody.
My gracious! I mean, he's out like you say. He's out for the kill. He's an assassin without a doubt. I'm gonna let you start on your prediction, Ken. I'm gonna shock a few people.
Well, here, let's talk a little bit about what I think some keys are. The Patriots have been a pretty good. They started slow on defense, but they got better. But Tim, they still give up a lot of yardage. Now they've been a little bit of bend and not break. They haven't been giving up that many points. There've been a lot of games where they've given up 20 or less points. But they're averaging giving up this Patriot defense
kind of like a Band-Aid.
366 yards a game, which is 29th in NFL. So you can move the ball on them, but you got to get in the end zone. That's how you got to beat them. And so you can move the ball on them. And I think the Eagles are going to try to. Foles had a great game, but I think Eagles going to do what they can to get their running game on
I
the
agree
Panthers.
with you.
And if they get that running game going,
play action.
That's
what he's really good at.
And on the other side of football, get a little pressure on Brady. Brady's so good, you got to get a little bit of pressure and pick you apart.
Yes.
And, of course, if Gronk, which they say he's probably going to play, that he's probably going to be okay over that concussion he had. And if he plays, then guess what? They got to do a good job on Gronk.
They're going to have to keep Brady off the field is what they're going to have to do.
Absolutely.
In order to win this football game. So I agree with everything you say. I mean, there's some great points there. I think what's going to happen is Brady loves throwing them short passes. Philadelphia's front four is probably better than anybody, probably as good as any front four in football. I say their front four is better than Jacksonville's front four. Cox is a beast. I think they're going to put, in order to beat Brady, they're going to put pressure up the middle.
And that's where it's got to be with Brady.
Yes. If they get pressure up the middle, and I think they will, they're going to beat the New England Patriots. So I'm telling you, I hate the Eagles. I'm a Cowboys fan. I can't believe I'm sitting here saying this, but I think the Philadelphia Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl because of the front four. And therefore, they're going to take some design blitz with their linebackers and stuff like that, maybe some cornerbacks and stuff, and get in there on Brady. But I really think that the front four is going to be the reason why the Eagles win the Super Bowl. They're going to put all the pressure on the defense to stop Brady. In order to do that, and those short passes, their linebackers and stuff like that in the secondary, they're going to be able to double team on certain players and stuff like that to take them away, to keep them from getting those first downs, or maybe put them in long yardage and stuff like that, like third and maybe 8, 3rd and 7 in long yardage to keep Brady, from driving down the field and scoring. So like I said, I think the Eagles are going to win. I'm going to go so far as to say I think the Eagles will beat them by 10 points. And that's a shocker. I really do. I think they're that good. I think they are the better football team on offense and defense.
I agree with you. I think overall, if you look at the personnel and the matchups and who they've got, I think Philadelphia's better. Now you can say, yeah, but the quarterback spot, you got a big advantage.
He's the best player in the field.
For Patriots, and quarterback is an important position. It is.
For
but
Brady.
Overall talent, I think Eagles have the better team.
They
do. Looking at matchups.
Running backs, wide receivers.
They got some good receivers.
Think about
this. They can stretch the field.
Hogan has not played good. The wide receiver for New England, he has not played well since he had his injury, coming off the injury. So he hasn't been really accountable at all. Grunk, I think they're better without Gronkowski.
I don't know about that.
I'm serious. I think they're better, really.
But things open up a little bit for the other receivers.
Amendola's playing well.
And,
he's their number one receiver right now. But see, the reason why I say I think they play better without Gronkowski, because Brady, in his mind, thinking, hey, I've got Gronk. He's one of the best.
Well, he's a safety
yes,
valve.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like
so
all else fails.
He's always.
I'll go to him. We got a physical matchup.
Right.
We'll just let him battle for
the
ball.
Like, I got to get it to Grunt. So that's why I think that he spreads the ball around better without Gronkowski. Now, I'm sure he wants Gronkowski on the field because he's an animal. Yeah. So, but
he's out there. It gives him more options.
Yes,
and I agree with you about the pressure up the middle. Brady is really good at stepping up in the pocket. He's not too good about scrambling wide.
No.
And so if you get pressure up the middle, he's not.
They got him.
He can't get away from that. In fact, I've seen the pressure there a lot of times. He's ready to go down. He don't want to take the hit. I mean, he's not going to try to battle to stay up if you get that pressure up the middle.
I think they're going to take a game film plan from what the Giants did in the Super Bowl years ago against Brady, and they're going to hit him hard. And I really think Brady's going to struggle. I think he is. I think his age is going to show in this Super Bowl.
There was a fact that I heard this week that I did not know, and you probably wouldn't have guessed this, Tim. In all the Super Bowls that Brady's played in for the Patriots, do you realize in the first quarter they have yet to score a touchdown in the first quarter in the Super Bowl? That's amazing.
Did you hear what Belichick said about that? He said, we are trying to score,
But that also tells you this. That's how good they are at making adjustments.
Yes, second half
adjustments. They come out with a game plan. It's like, don't work. Well, guess what? They got adjustments. They got other options they go to, and a lot of times it does work.
Okay, here's a good one.
That's that great coaching with the Patriots.
Coaching staff. Who's better, Peterson's or Belichick?
Well, obviously the proven is Belichick and his folks. But, this is one game. If you get a good game plan and your guys go out and execute it, it may not make that much difference in it.
And I tell you something too. On offense, on the Eagles, they're going to rely on the run of the football, and like you said, they're going to put a lot of pressure on the running game. I like what Peterson did with. To me, he should be the coach of the year in my book. Peterson should be, because of what he did with Nick Foles. He took
and the fact you follow the NFC East. The Eagles wasn't predicted to win that this year.
No, the Cowboys were.
That's what I'm saying.
Their coaching staff outcoached the Cowboys.
Like I say, the coaching staff did a great job.
Adjustments.
I mean, number one team in the NFC.
Look what they lost on offense. Their number one left tackle, the blind side of the quarterback. Lost their quarterback, who was the MVP, who would have won. Yeah. He would have won the MVP. Carson Wentz would have if he hadn't went down with his leg injury. Okay, and then plus They lost somebody on defense too. Their number one linebacker.
Yeah.
Ken, that tells me of team football, the next man up, but coaching wise, getting those guys prepared. I mean, to me, that's unbelievable.
And a lot of folks said, well, it's the Patriots. You know, they'll win it anyway. Well, no, it's every game is unique and it's different. Just because they've won so many don't mean they'll win this one. Guess what? It was a miracle comeback last year to keep from winning. I mean, the Falcons had them down. You got them down by over 3 touchdowns, and they couldn't close it out.
I'm going to write this down, Ken. I'm writing it down right now. Give me a pen. 27-17.
That's what you call it.
27-17 Eagles. And I think Brady, I think his age is going to show. I think they're going to hit him. I think they're going to get to him.
They're going to want to hit him.
Yes,
they'll hit him a few times.
Yes, and they're chomping at the bit. Trust me.
And usually I don't know about Brady, but usually in the Super Bowl,
I'm pulling for Brady. I want everybody to know that I'm pulling for the Patriots. But I'm telling you, I just believe.
I'm not pulling for
Eagles.
the Patriots.
Like Duke.
I think I'm gonna.
We'll get to that in a minute.
I tell you what. I think I'm gonna predict the Patriots win again, but I'll be pulling for the Eagles.
27-17 Eagles.
I'm saying.
What do you think?
24-21 Patriots.
That'd be a good one. I hope you're right. I'm telling you.
But
I want Brady to win that. I want him to win. I just,
Speaking of the Patriots, and I know I'm a little bit of a Patriot hater, but I give them credit, Tim. Listen to these stats. The last 8 seasons, the Patriots have won 12 or more games. 8 seasons in a row. The last 12 seasons, they've won 10 or more games. Now, that's what you call consistently good, year in and year out.
Well, when you have the greatest quarterback and the greatest coach, Ken, what more can you say?
Well, I'm going to say, what's consistent about them last 12 seasons? Belichick and Brady.
Absolutely. And they're going to be there. As long as they're together, they'll be there. I promise you that. Carolina Panther news, the GM interviews are taking place this week. Interim GM Marty Herney, good friend of ours, Ken's. We see him every Sunday down there at the Panthers game. He is a leading candidate, they say, for
he's interim GM, and his contract,
that job.
Tim runs through June. Now, to me, it's a little strange, the timing of the interviews now. Here's what's happening. They're gonna hire Herney as the full-time GM.
Well, yeah.
They're just going through games with this stuff. Because why would you be interviewing now if he's going to be gone in June and to be somebody else? You wouldn't. I mean, it wouldn't make any sense.
Right.
And the other thing is,
they got to get an owner first.
Well, evidently not. They try to get a GM.
So.
You think? Well, here's what's strange about that, Tim. Who's going to be conducting these interviews?
Well, think about this. If you hire Marty Herney as the GM, and he's the GM, and then they go out and get ownership, and ownership comes in, and they sign him, say, Marty Herney for X amount of money, okay, and they just said, well, we want a new GM. They find, does he get a package? So he's going to make. He's making money for a while.
Oh, he's going to go out smiling.
That's what I'm saying.
He's going to go out smiling whether he get kicked out or not when the new ownership comes in.
So, absolutely. So, that's,
If I'm smart, I wouldn't give him a long-term contract, but we'll see what they do. But as far as
Richardson's behind that somewhere or another.
Who's going to do the interviewing? And they said it was going to be Tina Becker, the chief operating officer, somebody who's director of communications, that's some guy named Drummond, and a lawyer, associate general counsel, and Rivera. Now, ain't that strange? Rivera, the coach is going to have a say-so in how he hired his boss, the GM. Yeah, that's sort of a strange situation.
That is a strange situation.
But, I mean, that's what they've got. So we'll see what happens
there. That's your Panthers, Kenny.
Yeah, speaking about Panthers, they did hire some folks this week, Tim. They've gone to the college ranks to get some coaches. They hired a linebacker coach, Steve Russ, who was a former Air Force defensive coordinator and assistant coach. He's been hired assistant head coach, and he's hired as linebacker coach replaced Al Holcomb, who went to Arizona to become Steve Wilkes' new defensive coordinator under Steve Wilkes, who took the head coaching job at Arizona. The Panthers also hired Brady Hoke as their defensive line coach. Now, where have we heard that name?
Michigan.
Yes, he coached at Michigan, head coach at Michigan.
He got fired
head coach at Oregon State. And this past year, he was defensive coordinator at Tennessee and took over as the interim head coach when they fired Butch Jones at Tennessee. So he's been in the college ranks forever, been on the defensive side. Interesting, I don't know whether there was any kind of special connection there with Rivera or anybody else on the staff, but he's coming in to the NFL for his first time after 36 years of coaching in college. Also, Panthers hired an assistant offensive line coach. They lost their offensive line coach, again, someone who went with to work for Steve Wilkes at Arizona. And Travell Walton, he played 10 years with the Panthers. He's originally from South Carolina, played ball at South Carolina, and he was a South Carolina offensive line coach in 2015 and 16, but this past year he was sort of an intern coach for the Panthers. So it's somebody they were associated with, and he's assistant offensive line coach. So they're filling in a lot of folks on the staff. Been a lot of changes on that staff.
They have been.
Think about it.
There have been a lot of changes on the Carolina Panthers.
From the president to the GM,
owners,
to the owners, to everybody else. You know, so it's interesting.
Other news before we go to a break here. Kansas City Chiefs traded Alex Smith to the Redskins for a third-round draft pick and for cornerback Kendall Fuller. So the Redskins gave Smith a 4-year contract worth $94 million. Ken, I'm going to tell you right now, that's a mistake.
He's 33 years old, Tim.
Listen, I don't know who makes the decision for the Redskins, but keep doing it, baby. That's all I got to say. I really believe that I would have. You know, Cousins is a much better quarterback than Smith. I mean, Smith's good. He don't turn the ball over, but to me, Cousins is much better. I don't know what you think.
And guess what? Now Cousins is going to free agent market. He's going to make a boatload
of money
for somebody.
Yes, he is. So, all righty, Kenny, that's your NFL news. Super Bowl week here at the KTC Broadcasting, WCSL 1590. You're listening to the best in sports right here. Ken Link and Tim Johnson every Wednesday.
She ain't waiting till she gets older.
The official Listen at Work station.
You remind me what I pay you people for.
Big O Country, WCSL 1590 AM, Cherryville, Gastonia. Online at KTCBroadcasting.com.
I'm Lon Helton, inviting you to join me as I count down the week's top 30 with my co-host Chris Young, who introduces us to his new puppy.
My sister surprised me, and I actually unwrapped the dog tag with the name on there. It was my gift for Christmas, which was really cool.
That's Chris Young this week on Country Countdown USA.
Country Countdown USA with Lon Helton, Wednesday afternoons at 1 o'clock on Carolina Country, 1590 AM WCSL, and online at KTCBroadcasting.com. The new year brings new big savings from Renato Auto Mall in Shelby. Get up to $9,000 in total value on the new 2018 GMC Sierra 1500 four-wheel drive crew cab with SLT Premium Plus package. Plus drive away in a new 2017 Buick Envision, now at $7,500 below MSRP. And the new 2018 Kia Stinger has arrived at only $299 per month for a 36-month lease. And get the 2018 Honda Fit for $169 a month for 36 months. See Ronaldo for all the details. Ronaldo Auto Mall, 4423 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby. Online at RonaldoAutomall.com.
In today's housing marketplace, the advantage goes to the seller. Gaston County is becoming a go-to location for new home buyers. But a seller's advantage is only as good as the realtor involved. That's where Moss Realty comes in. They're dependable, honest, and hardworking for you, the seller. Give them a call at 704-865-5555 or log on to mossrealty.com. The number again, 704-865-5555. That's Moss Realty.
You may not know this, but the best greens of the Carolinas are right here in Shelby and Cleveland County at the Riverbend YMCA Golf Course. People continue to rave about the condition of the greens. Russell Spangler has worked hard to make them tip-top shape for your round of golf. And course manager Phil Wallace invites you to come on by and play. Call for their special rates at 704-482-4286 or visit the website at riverbendymcagolf.com. Call for your tee time today.
Check out what the Green Meadows Golf Club on Kelly Road in Mount Holly has to offer. On Wednesday, you can play all day for $28, including cart and green fee. And ladies, Wednesday is your day too. Ladies play and ride all day for only $15. To make your tee time, call the Green Meadows Golf Club at 704-827-9264. You'll love it. The Green Meadows Golf Club, located at 957 Kelly Road in Mount Holly. Come see what they have to offer.
All right, here we are back on the Best in Sports Show. Tim Johnson and Ken Link.
Kenny, I was listening to Calvin Hastings this morning. It's probably about 6:45. I got off work a little early. It's coming home. And I thought I was going to die laughing. He's talking about Milton. Might have been around 7 o'clock. Milton was in the bathroom, and somebody had called, and he said Milton was in there doing something with the paper. He was doing paperwork in the bathroom. That's Calvin Hastings for you.
Yeah.
I tell you, he said Milton's taking care of the paperwork in the bathroom.
Oh, well, we're not doing any paperwork in the bathroom here, but
you can listen to Calvin and Milton every morning. These guys are hilarious. I'm telling you, boy, great people here at KTC Broadcasting, Kenny. All right, Kenny, what you got lined up for us?
Let's talk a little bit about the NBA, Tim. There was a big trade that went down yesterday. The L.A. Clippers traded Blake Griffin and 2 other players to the Detroit Pistons for a first-round draft pick, a second-round draft pick, and 3 other players. Now, Griffin is a good player, Tim, but he's had injury problems.
Oklahoma.
And, played for Oklahoma.
Yeah, played for Oklahoma.
And he was a good player in college, great player in college.
He was.
And I read that he's got 4 years left on his contract, and he's making over $30 million each of the 4 years per year.
$120 million.
Yeah, they're over 30. 1 year, I think 34, 35.
Wow.
He is making the dollars.
He's making the jack, is he?
So Detroit's banking on this guy that they can build around, and we'll see. They're around 500, I think, in the NBA, and I think the Clippers was a couple games under 500. So they're about the same record. Speaking of records, the Golden State Warriors are still the best team in the Western Conference. And the best team in Eastern Conference, Boston Celtics. And guess what, Tim? Those 2 teams played this past Saturday. This will be the last game they play this year if they do meet in the playoffs. And some folks say they'll meet in the playoff in the championship. We'll see. A lot of ball to be played. But it's a heck of a game. Golden State won by 4 points. It's back and forth. And Steph Curry put on a show, threw in 49 points. And Kyrie Irving was almost as good for the Celtics. He threw in 37.
Do you think the Cleveland Cavaliers are missing Kyrie Irving?
Absolutely.
Do you think they treated him well? No.
I think they're going to regret that trade.
I think they will too.
Time.
How about Isaiah Thomas? How's he working out for you?
Well, that's our next point on here. Let's talk about a lot of controversy still around Isaiah Thomas, Cleveland Cavaliers, and the recent slump. They haven't been playing well, and guess what happened? Yesterday, Kevin Love goes down with a broken hand.
Wow.
And so now
he's having a good year, too.
Yeah, and so now he's out for 6 weeks. So I don't know. That may affect – they may try to make some kind of trade to get some help. I don't know what they'll do. But they're slipping a little bit. They've been losing lately, and they don't want to get too bad a seed in going into the playoffs. There's still a lot of games to be played, but – they're not playing well as a team now, and obviously everybody knows it's sort of a lame duck type season for LeBron because they think after this year he will go somewhere else.
You know what the latest rumor is where he might go?
Where's that?
The Rockets. Houston.
Well, there's a lot of places he
Houston
could go.
Rockets.
He could go to a lot of places, and that'd be a good place for him to go because they got some other talent down there.
They got James Harden there, and let's see if Chris Paul, if he hangs out, he'll be there. What say, Mr. Steve Roberts? Come on in here. We have a legend in the studio with us today, Ken. Look at that gentleman.
Yeah, Steve Roberto.
I'm telling you, Roberto. That's right. Good. How about you, Steve? All right, good to see you, my man. Yeah, I don't know about LeBron James. I don't know, Ken. I mean, he's always trying to chase Michael Jordan, and that's just a no-win situation. Here's the greatest basketball player they ever put on some sneakers. Hands down, Ken, the greatest. You talking about Brady. We was talking about Brady earlier about being an assassin. Michael Jordan, I don't see, Steve. I don't think Michael Jordan ever lost a game when he had the ball in his hand.
He made it.
Yeah, Brady has.
But we was talking about clutch players, and we talking about Brady. And boy, you talk about the clutch player in professional sports.
He
That's
is.
Michael Jordan.
He's. If you
Michael
look up in
Jordan.
the dictionary of clutch, his picture's there. You know, no doubt about it. Yeah, but you know,
And here's the other thing about Jordan. And LeBron, you know, he's been how many? What's this? His third team, and he's probably wanting to go to his fourth. Start out Cleveland, went to Miami, come back to Cleveland, right?
Jordan never did that.
No, and now he wants to go somewhere else.
Jordan won them all.
And he's trying to go somewhere to get all these players. Guess what? Jordan came up in Chicago, and the personnel changed there, but Jordan stayed right there and
Absolutely.
still was great the whole
Yeah,
time.
he didn't ever really have any.
One
Besides Dennis
championship.
Rodman, Dennis Rodman was the only big person
They really added.
they
yeah.
brought in. You know, but other than that, him and Scottie Pippen, I mean, those two dominated
They
the,
did. They
the
did.
game of basketball. But yeah, Kenny Hornets, the Charlotte Hornets. I knew Kevin Hastings and Evan Smoke and Ludwig and Terry Reinhardt. They're big Hornet fans. And, well, I knew Terry's a big Celtics fan, but they're big on the Hornets and stuff like that. They're 20-29 on the season, Ken. What do they have to do to turn that franchise around to get them to the next level, which is the playoffs?
Well,
what do they got to do?
Well, here's a stat I heard someone talking about this week. The Hornets starting five, Tim, when they're in the game.
Who are they?
When
I know Kimball Walker's one of them, but really, who are the?
well, you got Kimball, you got Dwight Howard, you got Batum, who's in there now. I guess you got Michael Kidd Gristus, and they've had some injuries. They've had some injuries out there, and it's hurt their bench. I know Cody Zeller's been out. Marvin Williams is the other starter on this team, but those five starters had I think it's the second or third best performance rating as far as points. They're plus in points. That they scored the other five in games this year. They're on the plus side, not the negative side, which tells me this. It's their bench. Their bench doesn't come in and help them that much. Their bench, they're not getting much production from the bench, and they have lost so many games, Tim, in the fourth quarter that they can't play well in the fourth quarter. Seems like when it comes down tight games, Kimball Walker's the only guy that's a threat, and other teams know it, and they
take him out of the game.
Yeah, they do their best to take him out, and nobody else is going to step up and make the shots.
Right.
And that's one of the problems. And I know at the beginning of the season, Coach Clifford said he thought this was one of the talented teams he's had.
I'll remember that. They predicted him being maybe a 2 or 3 seed.
But they haven't played that well. Now, they could get hot and win 4 or 5 in a row, and they can still get in the playoffs. But, they won't have a good seed if they do get in. Right now, they're on the outside looking in.
We need to hook up with Kevin and get him, maybe get him to give us some information on the Hornets and stuff like that. Possibly after the Super Bowl, maybe,
But I heard that Cody Zeller he's been on the injury. He hadn't played in a while. I understand he's about ready to come back. Maybe that'll help him on the part of the bench.
Right, yeah. Well, we need to hook up with Kevin, like I said, and maybe get Kevin to give us some information on the Hornets and stuff like that. Maybe in what direction, the organization's going. I mean, who's making the decision-makings and stuff? Is it Jordan or is it somebody else?
Well,
I don't know much. I know football.
Well, the
baseball.
GM chose making the decisions. He's a GM.
Sure.
He's the one doing the drafting and making the moves, but they haven't turned out well.
Sure.
And they haven't drafted well. And I'll be honest with you, they haven't had any luck as far as drawing out that ping pong ball to get a number one player. So, they haven't any luck in the draw with that either.
You got to get some talent in there, Ken. Got to get some talent for the Hornets. I'm sure Michael Jordan, is probably.
And one of the things you asked about, they need better shooting. They don't have consistent outside shooting.
They don't have no shooters.
And Monk, the kid they got from Kentucky, they drafted, they thought he could be it, but he's really struggled adjusting to professional ball and his defense, and so he's not even playing any at all now. So that didn't help him as far as shooting.
All right, Ken, let's talk a little bit about college basketball. The AP rankings has got Villanova number 1, Virginia Cavaliers. The Wahoos are number 2. You got Purdue. The Boilermakers are number 3. Kenny, your Duke Blue Devils are number 4. The Michigan State, they are number 5. And the Xavier and Kansas, 6 and 7. Cincinnati at 8. Arizona 9. And Texas Tech at 10. And Ken, UNC Tar Heels and the Clemson Tigers are 19 and 20, and they played last night.
They played last night, and the result of that game probably means that UNC will not be 19 next week. They'll probably be out of the top 25 as Carolina got beat by 4 points playing at Clemson last night. The third loss in a row for the Tar Heels. Been 2014 since they've lost 3 straight ACC games. Tim's is not looking good for them, and the reason I say that is they're not getting. They got a lot of inconsistency. They're not got consistent scoring. Got a big game from Cameron Johnson last night and Joel Berry, but still wasn't enough. I mean, when you're down 16 at the half and you try to come back on the road, and they actually tied the ball game up late, but then gave up a wide open 3, which one of the problems. The Tar Heels last night gave up 15 3-pointers. Clemson hit 15 out of 30. The previous game, your NC State Wolfpack.
How about them Wolfpack, Kenny?
Jumped all over the Tar Heels, and they hit 15 out of 30.
And where they play at?
They played in Chapel Hill.
Good gracious alive. I'm going to ask you a question.
I went into OT but couldn't pull it out.
I want to know, what was it like sitting on the couch knowing that you was going to have to come in to the radio station on Wednesday and face me with my NC State Wolfpack shirt on, hoodie on, I guess you'd say.
Well,
what was that like, Kenny?
They say the sun shines on every dog occasionally, so you got a little bit of sunshine last week. That's all I got to say.
I tell you, man,
I'm honest. I'll be honest about the Tar Heels. They don't have the talent on this team they've had in the past, and they've got some good players that really some play real hard, but their team defense is not good. Tim, I watched so many wide open 3-pointers last night. Heck, I could hit 15 out of 30 if I'm that wide open, I think. And really, the defense is not good. Roy Williams knows it. So,
Kenny, let's go commercial break, and we're going to talk some more ACC basketball right here for you on the Best in Sports.
Well, it's 8 o'clock in Boise, Idaho.
NASCAR racing right here on Big O Country, WCSL 1590 AM, Cherryville, Gastonia. Online at ktcbroadcasting.com.
It's Mitchum Kitchen's 20th anniversary. Be sure to check out their anniversary specials January 29th, 30th, and 31st. For lunch, get a free dessert from 10:30 until 3. Also for lunch and dinner, barbecue plates just $5, cheeseburger baskets just $4, and get a free gallon of tea with all family packs. And register to win a barbecue party pack for 25 people during the 20th anniversary event, January 29th, 30th, and 31st at Mitchum's Kitchen, Highway 27 West at Highway 274 intersection in Vail.
At Reliable Home Appliance Center in Gastonia, they have something for both mom and dad. For mom, see front-load washers and dryers. Also, built-in dishwashers and side-by-side refrigerators. Plus cooktops, microwave, and wall ovens. And for dad, it's the Big Green Egg for the ultimate cooking experience. And a new Danby Kegerator. Don't go to the big box store. Get hometown service plus a friendly smile at Reliable Home Appliance Center, located on 3001 Union Road in Gastonia. For sales, service, and parts, plus 12 months, same as cash.
Don't call them, call Backyard Boys Towing when you're down on your luck for a tow, jump start, or tire change. Who wants to do that? Also fuel delivery. Yes, sometime somewhere you'll run out of gas or diesel. Of course, Backyard Boys Towing is the man to call for the roadside assistance. Tim does it all for a fraction of the price of, well, the other guys. If you're within 100 miles of Lincoln, remember this number for Backyard Boys Towing, 704-308-2955. Backyard Boys Towing.
It's Mitchum Kitchen's 20th anniversary. Be sure to check out their anniversary specials January 29th, 30th, and 31st. For lunch, get a free dessert from 10:30 until 3. Also for lunch and dinner, barbecue plates just $5, cheeseburger baskets just $4, and get a free gallon of tea with all family packs. And register to win a barbecue party pack for 25 people during the 20th anniversary event, January 29th, 30th, and 31st at Mitchum's Kitchen, Highway 27 West at Highway 274 intersection in Vail.
Who do you call for that leaky roof or new roof needed? Creason Roofing and Repair, Cherryville. Their motto, see the reason, while we're the best. Creason Roofing and Repair, fully licensed and insured. Creason Roofing and Repair is dedicated to customer service and complete satisfaction. Always free estimates. Phone 704-435-1791. 24/7 commercial and residential roofing. Creason Roofing and Repair, Cherryville.
Country Countdown USA with Lon Helton, Friday afternoons from 1 until 4, right here on Big O Country, WCSL 1590 AM, Cherryville, Gastonia, online at ktcbroadcasting.com.
Okay, back here on WCSL 1590, the Best in Sports show. And we're back talking basketball, Tim. We got in a little bit into the ACC. We're going to get a little bit more in depth in what's going on there.
Wide open, Kenny.
It is wide open, and the conference standings, but there's somebody sitting on top that looks like they're a little better than anybody else, and that's the Virginia Cavaliers.
I'll tell you, Kenny, Virginia's having a great year. Tony Bennett, to me, is making him a real good argument of being one of the best coaches, not only in the ACC, but in the country.
Oh, absolutely. And Tim, they're now 20-1 on the season, 9-0 in the tough Atlantic Coast Conference, and that's pretty amazing. They went to Duke Cameron Indoor Stadium this past Saturday and came away with a victory over those Blue Devils.
Yeah, Duke
quite impressive.
They had an early lead there for a while in the first quarter.
Oh yeah, they led most. Virginia led most of the game, and then Duke went to a zone. I'm telling you, Duke has trouble man to man, Tim. So they came out the second half, went to a zone. Virginia was cold against that zone. Blue Devils got a few fast breaks, got it going, and they caught up and actually took a lead. But it didn't matter. Virginia kept playing, took the lead back, and won by 2 points at Cameron.
Ken, we got about a month left of the season before we get to the ACC tournament. And looking right now, your top teams, like you said, was Virginia, Louisville at a record 6-2. I'm surprised Louisville's really did well after the big fallout of Rick Pitino
stepping down.
Absolutely. Yeah. Then you got Duke, Clemson, Florida State, and my NC State Wolfpack coming in at 5-4, 15-7. They already have wins over Duke and UNC and Arizona, and of course Clemson as well. And then Kenny, your UNC Tar Heels are 5-5, 16-7. They lost 3 straight in a row. Jalik Felton suspended. Did not show it for the game tonight. I know you got some information on that as well. Your Miami Hurricanes 4-4, Syracuse, Virginia Tech, Boston College, Georgia Tech, Notre Dame, Wake Forest, and Pittsburgh rounding out the bottom of the ACC. Ken, Shelby's product, Gabe DeVoe, played really well last night. Watched him. He had like 4 or 5 3-pointers.
Oh, he had 5 3-pointers. He ended with 17 points. In the game before that, Tim, he had 25.
Yes.
Now, he's a senior there at Clemson, a Shelby product. He's been there for 4 years. He's getting more playing time now. Unfortunately, Clemson had a good player, Dante Grantham, who's a 6'8" forward. He's really been playing well this year. He's a senior. He went down with a serious knee injury a couple games ago. Now, DeVoe's 6'3", he plays a different position, but because they've been able to shift things around, play a little small lineup, he's getting more playing time, and he is playing very well.
He's a pretty big guy, too.
Well, he's about
stout looking.
Yeah, he's about 6'3", 215. Yes. He's not a slender guy.
I thought he was slender more than that, but looking at him on TV, he's stout looking.
He's a stout looking guy, and they played well. Against
great young man
against North Carolina. As I said, North Carolina did not play good defense, and they made a good comeback, but it wasn't enough. And when it came down to tied 74-74 with less than 2 minutes left, came down, needed to get a stop to get the ball back, and what they do? Left the guy wide open, and he nailed the 3-pointer.
They can't defend the perimeter.
No, they can't.
That 3-point shot, it's like we were talking about it on the way to the radio station. I take you. I mean, they tied the game up with like about a minute and some seconds left in the game, and then they turned the ball up, or they didn't turn it up, they just missed a shot and then came down, and the guy hit that 3-pointer to put them up a 3, and it was 5 points. It was over then.
Yeah,
it's like they can't defend the perimeter. They don't have any defensive players. Even Joel Berry, if you look, he's not a defensive player.
Well, he doesn't have the size to be a great defense. He tries to stop the dribble. And it did hurt him last night when Theo Pinson went down.
Yes, that was huge.
Early in the game, only 2 minutes in the game. He got pushed going for a rebound, got an undercut, took a hard fall. It banged up his hip and his shoulder, and he was not able to come back, and that hurt him as well. And it already hurting a point guard because Jalen Felton was the guy who come in and spell Barry a little bit. Well, he was suspended. They won't get him any details except he's suspended from the school pending some investigation before they let him come back. So evidently it was some kind of incident. Don't have any idea what it is, but he obviously can't play ball because he has been suspended from the school for now. So you did have a backup there, and they said, well, Pinson can play a little bit at point guard while Barry rests. Well, he couldn't last night because he went out with the injury. So Barry played pretty much 40 minutes and actually played very well. If it hadn't been for he and Cameron Johnson, who had 32, I think Barry had 27. That's what kept Carolina in the game, gave them a chance to come back in the second half, those two players.
You know, I told you earlier, I said in order to beat Carolina, you gotta stop Luke May. To me, Luke is their offensive three. He's the fourth leading scorer. Was fourth leading scorer. I don't know whether he is now, whether he is or not now. But yeah, Luke May. If you can stop Luke May, you can beat Carolina. They just don't have a lot of scores.
No,
they're inconsistent.
And they've been consistent. And Kenny Williams,
and he's consistent.
Kenny Williams played really well first 10 games, and boy, in the last 6 or 8, he is not playing well.
Never
at all.
heard it. Yeah, he's gone.
And they talk about his defense, Tim. He hadn't been good playing very well on defense either. So he has not been playing well.
I didn't see a lot of hustle out of Carolina last night either.
No, I didn't either. It looked like they didn't have any energy the first half.
Now, they did make a run in the second half. Credit, the basketball team as well, but Roy Williams, he pretty much nailed it. He said, we got to play with our heart and got to play with our brain too. Yeah. So.
And Roy won't make excuses for him.
He doesn't.
He'll call them out.
Absolutely.
And he'll it doesn't matter whether he's a star or not. He'll call out a star just as well as he will off somebody off the bench.
Kenny, there's a new Coach K, like you was telling me in the ACC now. His name is Kevin Keats. I don't know if you've heard of him or not, but he's the NC State Wolfpack coach. He's the new Coach K. Have you checked on that shirt for me?
I checked. I can't find it online.
Find that shirt. Get me a shirt,
I don't know whether somebody locally just doing it, but I'd heard that there's a bunch of T-shirts the NC State fans have over there that says something like the other Coach K or the new Coach K.
Well, just get
they're talking about Kevin Keats. Not
just get
Coach.
Miss Teresa to make me one, Ken.
Well,
she can just tell her to make me a
She's
coach.
She's probably good.
But anyway, Kenny is my NC State Wolfpack. Here's the topic. Are they NCAA tournament qualification? I mean, are they good enough to play? Can they make some noise?
Yes, I think they can. I think they will get in the NCAA tournament. You got to win a certain number of games.
They're projected 9 teams.
And Tim, you got to be at least 500 in ACC and win close to 20. They're 5-4 in ACC. They're 15-7 overall, but they've got some wins over Duke, who's ranked 4th, Arizona, who's ranked 9th in the country, Carolina, who has been ranked, probably won't be next week, and also Clemson, who is 3rd in the ACC, 7-3 record, and probably is going to be ranked close to that top 10 this week. So they've got some wins over some good teams, and that helps their resume as well.
Kenny, I'm excited. I mean, Coach Keats has got the NC State Wolfpack basketball fans, even our football program. I mean, we've got a great football program now. I mean, our athletics at NC State is looking really good, especially the basketball program. Ken, I'm excited, man. I'm telling you, I can't wait.
I heard he was Coach Keats was getting some interviews this first of this week after that big win over Carolina. And I liked what he says, Tim. They was asking about his goals coming in and have they changed with his team and what he done. He said, well, my goal is to win every game.
But yeah, we just got to find a way to keep this guy.
And he said, after we didn't win every game, my other goal is changed a little bit. Well, we'll win the next one. My goal is to win every game.
Absolutely.
Hey, I like it. I like the way he looks at things.
Absolutely. Kenny, before we go to another commercial break, let's go to some basketball recruitings. Duke has the #1 ranked 2018 recruiting class, and some think the greatest recruiting class of all time. Duke and Kentucky are the top one and done schools. Ken, what do you think about that?
Well, this is what I got to say about it. They are killing it on recruiting, but just because you have the best recruiting class
don't mean you're going to win championships.
In fact, Duke's recruiting class from 2013 through 2017, the last 5 years leading up to 2018, they were 7th, 1st, 2nd, and 1st in the recruiting class. Kentucky during that same period was 1st, 2nd, 1st, and 2nd. Well, guess what? All that, Duke's won 1 national championship in that period. Kentucky's won 0.
That's Mr. Basketball and Mr. Baseball himself, Kenny Link, right here on WCSL. It's the best in sports, Tim and Ken.
home, back porch. It's the only one we listen to.
I listen to it all day long.
Big O Country, 1590 AM, WCSL, Cherryville, Gastonia. Online at KTCBroadcasting.com. The RVer's most trusted resource for over 50 years. That's Campers Inn. Family owned and operated since 1966. And this area's dealer is Campers Inn in Kings Mountain, Highway 161 South at I-85. Campers Inn is the nation's largest family operated RV dealership with 16 locations on the East Coast. From motorhomes to travel trailers and more, from the industry's leading manufacturers, plus award-winning RV sales and service. See hundreds of RVs at the best prices at Campers Inn. Highway 161 South at I-85 in Kings Mountain. Tell them Calvin sent you in to the Campers Inn.
What's that howling?
Nothing to be afraid of. This is Coyote Tractor Country, mister. That howling just means somebody's bought another hard-working Coyote tractor.
If you're in the market for a hard-working, affordable 20 to 90 horsepower compact tractor, test drive a Coyote today.
You heard the man. Now get going. You're burning daylight, mister. Visit www.kioti.com.
Your Coyote dealer is West End Sales, Highway 1827 intersection in Vail.
NASCAR racing right here on Big O Country, WCSL 1590 AM, Cherryville, Gastonia. Online at ktcbroadcasting.com.
Welcome back to the Best in Sports right here on WCSL KTC Broadcasting. It's Tim Johnson and Ken Link. We are from the big town of L-Town, Lincoln, Ken. And
let's talk a little bit about some of those Lincoln County high school basketball.
And we got a big tournament coming up here pretty soon for Lincoln County, Ken.
Yeah, there'll be a conference tournament, boys and girls. But right now, the conference season is going, and it's winding down in the next 2 weeks. But right now, and the boys play for the South Fork 2A Athletic Conference. East Lincoln still leads in conference play with a 10-1 record and 17-4 overall. And, Tim, they won 10 straight. East Lincoln is playing some good basketball. They beat Bandy's last night 75-59.
Yeah, I was at the game this past Friday night, last Friday night. Actually, me and Evan we called the game between North Lincoln High School and East Lincoln High School there at East Lincoln. And congratulations to Destiny Johnson, Ken. 2,000 career points in that young lady's career. I think she's the first Lincoln County lady to do that, and the second Lincoln County behind Sage Ray. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Of Lincoln High School
So
and East Lincoln.
There's your boys and there's your girls. And
great young lady.
You think about 2,000 points, a lot of points. Of course, she's been starting and playing as a freshman, but she scores a lot of points to get that many.
Yeah, and you told me how good she was when we went and saw the East Lincoln and Lincoln game.
She's an excellent player.
She is.
She's an excellent player.
She is. And I think Lee's McRae College is looking at her to go play some to extend her basketball career there at college. And so congratulations to Destiny Johnson and the East Lincoln Mustangs on a big win that night. It was a great win for them.
Yeah, and that was a good game, both guys. And the game that you watched was pretty tight for maybe a first quarter and into the half, and then it was broken open by East Lincoln.
Yeah, East Lincoln, I tell you right now, they're a great basketball program. Coach Hancock of the East Lincoln Mustang, head basketball coach, I tell you, he's doing a sensational job there for his first year as the basketball coach. Had an opportunity to talk to Coach Hancock, and what a pleasure it was. Also talked to Coach Mathiel there, the new athletic director of East Lincoln High School, and the baseball coach. Great baseball coach, one of the best coaches in our area as well as the state. Great to see him too. Look forward to doing a lot of baseball games this year. Kenny, I know you are too of East Lincoln Mustangs. We're going to be covering them as well. But Coach Hancock, great basketball coach. East Lincoln got I tell you, and this ain't his first stint in the Lincoln County area.
No, he coached at Lincoln at one time,
He did.
and he's been very successful everywhere he's coached. There's no doubt about that.
Yes.
He's a good coach. East Lincoln, Tim, this Friday night hosts Maiden. They come to town, so that looks like that could be a good contest. Evan Ludwig and myself will be down to East Lincoln to bring that game to the folks on WLON 1050 this Friday night.
Tune in. Check out the boys. Evan does a great job calling the basketball game. We're just there. When he loses breath, we just pitch in every once in a while.
Occasionally get a word in because he can describe every detail of that action. He does a great job doing it. There's no doubt about that. Lincoln is second in the conference, 9-2 record, 16-3 overall. They beat West Lincoln last night, 61-37. Maiden is third with 7-4 record. Lake Norman Charter is next with 6-4. Then Bandage 5-6. Newton Conover 3-7. North Lincoln 3-8, and West Lincoln 0-11. Last night, Tim, in a close game, North Lincoln lost to Maiden at Maiden, 63-62. Wow, that was a close contest.
Wow.
I saw that score and I thought, wow, that must have been a heck of a game.
Yes, it was. I mean, that's, North Lincoln's got some talent.
They
mean,
do.
they got a young freshman named Jack Carter, great baseball player. He can shoot.
Yeah, he had
He can fill it up.
He had a good game against East Lincoln the other night.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. I want to speak on behalf of West Lincoln. David Hansel, the head basketball coach there, know that gentleman well. He coached Addison 2 years in high school there at West Lincoln High School. He's going through a tough season this year. Like you said, 0-11, 1-18. Great guy. Know him well. Coach Hansel's a great basketball coach, and I'm hoping that maybe he could turn that program around, hopefully next year, and pick up some wins. He's going to have a couple kids back next year. He's got a Robinson kid pretty good.
Yeah, he impressed me when I saw him play North Lincoln here a few weeks ago, and he sort of don't have a build of a basketball player, but gosh, he was throwing in some shots and really looked good.
Yeah, you was telling me about that. The South Fork 2A Athletic Conference in girls, Maiden's 10-1, 17-2, excuse me, and then Lincoln's 8-2, 12-6 are second. Lake Norman Charter 7-3, 12-7. East Lincoln 7-4 and 13-8. And Lincoln defeated Maiden, Ken, at the game that me and Evan did. The girls did, and pretty much beat them pretty handily.
Yeah, and that's their only loss. And those, I listed those four. That's the top of your league of the 8. And Tim, they've all played each other this Friday night. Maiden plays at East Lincoln, and Lincoln plays at Lake Norman Charter. So these top
huge
four
games in
are
our conference
playing Friday night
in the 2A Athletic Conference.
Yeah.
Huge games in the South Fork. Like I said, East Lincoln Destiny Johnson went over 2,000 point mark for her high school career and a victory over North Lincoln last Friday night. Congratulations to that young lady. What a great accomplishment and she in East Lincoln Mustangs. The Southern Piedmont 1A League boys, Ken, Cherryville is 12-9 overall and 2-6 in conference.
Yeah, they've got a couple of conference wins, and they've been playing a little better ball the last week or so. So we'll be pulling for them as they go forward. Tim, we still have some continuing fallout over this Larry Nassar sex abuse scandal. The doctor was from Michigan State University, and the women's gymnastics team doctor. This past week, Michigan State University president and the athletic director both resigned. A special prosecutor has been appointed to investigate the culture of sexual abuse at Michigan State University after the ESPN's Outside the Lines did a story uncovering that. And this past weekend, there were hundreds of students who protested for change in the administration approach to how they handled the sexual crimes and claims. And the remainder of the United States USA Women's Gymnastics Board have all resigned, and we're expecting probably a special prosecutor to be appointed to investigate the USA Women's Gymnastics organization's cover-up and lack of a follow-up on the sexual abuse crimes over the past 2 decades. And I understand there's maybe some congressmen that's going to get involved with this.
Ken, it's going
to be a big deal.
Ken, it's going to be. They say it can be worse. It can be as worse, if not worse, than Penn State.
It sounds like it will be.
Ken, from my understanding, Ken, there's going to be people all just keep going, losing jobs. And I'm going to tell you, D'Antoni and Izzo could lose their jobs.
Yeah, and D'Antoni.
And I think Izzo might. Did you see the interview that he did?
Yeah, I did see the interview, and I think I mentioned last week that football program at Michigan State's had a lot of sexual abuse claims. I think they had many as 16 over the last several years, and there's also been a couple in the basketball program. So a special prosecutor gets in there, Tim. It could be a lot of stuff uncovered.
Yeah. Kenny, you got some big baseball news, Hall of Fame baseball news. One of my favorite players, my son's favorite player of all time, he wore his number, Chipper Jones.
Chipper Jones. Last week, 4 players were voted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. They'll be inducted later on this year, but they were voted in, and that was Chipper Jones, Vladimir Guerrero, Jim Thome, and Trevor Hoffman. Tim, one of my favorite players is Vlad Guerrero.
Yeah, he was good, was he not?
What a unique player. Very unorthodox player. He's about 6'3", 225, 230. didn't look good swinging at the plate.
Man.
Always took a long swing.
He could hit anything outside, inside, over his head.
I've seen him hit him in the dirt off a bounce.
I have too.
But he didn't walk. I read where he walked 6.5 times out of 100. So he went up there to swing the bat, Tim. He didn't go up there to look at pitches.
He came out of the Expos. He came out of that organization.
He started
came
with
up through the Expos. That's
Montreal,
what I thought.
and I did a little bit of
Pedro Martinez did too.
Yeah, and he played with Pedro
yes,
for
he
a
did.
while till he got signed a free agent contract and then went to play in Anaheim for the Angels.
Sure.
So he played about half at Montreal and half at Angels, and I think his last 2 years he played at Texas a year, and he went to Baltimore before injuries caught up with him.
I think his better years was probably with the Angels.
But he played 16 seasons. His career batting average was .318.
Wow.
You know? That's amazing. He had 449 home runs. He also used to steal bases. He had 181 stolen bases, had 2 years where he had over 30 home runs and 30 bases. 1 year he hit 39 home runs and had 40 stolen bases, just missed the 40-40. But Tim, I read some background on him. He grew up in poverty in Dominican Republic.
He did.
And I
saw that story.
I saw where he didn't get past the 5th grade, and they said he never really learned English good. They said he was shy, but said the reason he didn't talk because he couldn't talk good English.
Wow.
And he's just a quiet guy, but boy, could he play. And there's times you look at him and say, that guy's terrible. He couldn't hit anything. Look at that pitch he swung at. But he could do it. He really could. What an unorthodox player.
Ken Chipper Jones, is he the greatest switch hitter of all time? I would say yes.
Could be.
I would say. I mean, you had Rod Carew too.
You had Curry.
But Chipper had something Carew didn't have.
Yeah.
Power.
And another guy who played with Baltimore for many years, Murray. He
Murray,
had some power
Eddie Murray, both sides.
as a switch hitter.
Chipper.
But
I
Chipper
take
was one of
Chipper.
the best.
I think Chipper
As far as
defensively,
batting average and power both,
he could do it. Listen, he was my favorite player, bar none, for the Atlanta Braves. Probably one of my favorite players of all time. Him and Derek Jeter. That was Alex's favorite player too. But I'm telling you, he was. This guy could hit from either side of the plate, and he was a 300 hitter. Ken had to be for both sides.
Oh,
of the
yeah,
plate.
he was.
He was unbelievable. Home runs. I think he broke Mantle's record for home runs for both sides. Did he not?
Yeah, and of course Mantle was one of the best switch hitters, home run guys.
Unbelievable.
But Tim, Jim Thome and Chipper Jones both played in American Legion baseball.
They did.
There's some other ones, Jack Morris and Alan Trammell, who were voted in earlier in December. They also played American Legion baseball. So there have been 76 players that made it to the Hall of Fame that played American Legion baseball.
Yeah, American Legion baseball is a summer sport, but I tell you what, Ken, it's a lot of dreams in American Legion baseball. Great. I tell you, if you don't play American Legion baseball, you need to.
Yeah, it's a great experience, especially get in a program like Cherryville with Bobby Dale Reynolds.
Absolutely. He's the best. Coach Reynolds, my book, he just blows. He belongs in the Hall of Fame of Major League Baseball. The way this guy is, he's unbelievable, Kenny. You know that as well as I do firsthand.
Absolutely.
So, all right, folks, the best in sports, Tim Johnson, Ken Link. Want to thank everybody for tuning in to us right here on a Wednesday. And don't forget about next Wednesday. Don't forget about the Super Bowl, Kenny.
Yes, and we'll be there watching, and we'll review what happened last week and see if my prediction came true or Tim's did.
You guys have a great weekend, and we'll see you guys here next Wednesday right here on WCSL, KTC Broadcasting. Tim Johnson, Kenny Link, Mr. Baseball.
You are the best station. I love the station.
Big O Country, 1590 AM, WCSL, Cherryville, Gastonia. Online at KTCBroadcasting.com. It's Mitchum Kitchen's 20th anniversary. Be sure to check out their anniversary specials, January 29th, 30th, and 31st.